Hello, hello, welcome. So today we are doing something a little bit fun, a little bit but still very interesting. I'm going to be trying to build a lesson plan as I'm playing out the different hands. And so the goal here is to sort of show not only where you can pull inspiration from, but also to figure out sort of how these things are sort of melding together. So hopefully it'll be interesting. We will see. If it's terrible, then we never have to do it again. But it might be a fun little challenge for us to work on. And so if you have any ideas, make sure to put them in the chat because I'm going to be trying to use your ideas as well to really build out this lesson. So I think I'm going to try to do like 8 hands. And if I feel like I need a little bit more, then okay. So let's get started. So it looks like we have 16 high card points, and right off the bat, one thing that I can think of is possibly one level opening. So we have the one spade opening, and just auction plan be the other thing with the auction plan. So with this hand, I have the 16 high card points. I have 6 spades. I have more spades than my initial one spade opening is promising. And so I'm thinking on my next bid, I'm going to be able to show that I have the extra spades and that I have the extra points because this is more than just a minute. So this is more of like one spade, 3 spade, rebid situation. So, oh, so partner path. Our robots in the tank. So another thing we could build it around is balancing lines. So we have the one spade, 2 clubs. Could also be bidding. So these are all possibilities that we're starting from with hand. So let's do this like, and then we're gonna build a little bit more cohesive as we get to hand 2 or hand 3. But we're starting here. And so this one is also interesting because we can build on it with the idea of you don't need to jump anymore. So extra. Okay, so 2 spades. A little bit more realistic. Okay, 2 spades, and now partner bids 4 spades. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Interesting. So what did I show with 2 spades? What can I do? Yeah. Why did we bid 4 spades? That's okay. So we have the King of Hearts as an opening lead. We could be thinking, including the opening lead. We're gonna lose 2 diamonds. We're gonna lose a heart, no spades, and I think we actually. All right. So we could also do something about trumping losers and planning out your line. Yep. Losers, planning line of play. All good topics. Okay, so now we still have the 2 losers in diamonds, but that's okay. Now I can just paste 2 spades. Do all of them. I can just claim, giving them 2. Okay, so that one had a lot of good stuff in it, but I feel like most of that one was in the auction, less in the play. But let's see if we can build on any of it with hand 2 here. So here we are with hand number 2. I have nothing. So, I mean, we could talk about quality of overcall, which would maybe go with these balancing auctions. So quality overcall, this can tie in balancing. A little bit more. Okay. So pass. Partners double. They're showing clubs and hearts. But we could talk about doubling. I feel like that's sort of on its own right now. Okay. Double. I could bid 3 hearts, but again, that seems a bit much. I just don't feel like I have a good enough. Pass. Here's that opening lead of the King of Hearts again. So we get to see here. Okay, so King of Hearts. Courage. Okay. So yeah, then turn to club. So maybe this ties in management. I know that it's long hearts. I guess we're trying to get them to rub in the dummy. Wow. Well, this could be an exercise in Trump management as well. So it could be talking about how with the 4-4 split, like sometimes you want to, once you find out about the bad split, Trump's bad split, Trump suit. That's not too bad. So we've got 2 things in here with Trump management. So maybe we can incorporate. Don't draw a Trump. I don't think there's. Oh. They're always destined to be down too. I feel like there's some lesson. But let's see. So competitive auctions, rebidding in competitive auctions, quality management. So we have managing trumps and balancing auctions are 2 main ideas that we grabbed onto. So 1 no trump, 3 no trump. Nothing spectacular in the auction. We can't even do Trump management. We can do planning. But great one for planning. So, and And so we got this opening lead of the spade. We have problems in diamonds, but not really. But clubs is going to be our most profitable tricks. So here, I'm going to play a low spade, give each the opportunity to play the king. That's fine, because now my queen and my ace are both good. And I've concealed my beautiful heart suit. So, on the opposite side of quality of overcall, maybe quality of suit, this can also tie into the idea of, you know, sometimes it's better to feel your good suit. Otherwise, you no. All right. So they returned the heart. I'll play a low over here. Spades, clubs, boom. Okay. Got those. I pitched a diamond. No, my queen of hearts is good. Don't know. That's 3 diamonds from them. Okay. Well, so yeah, having our hearts concealed here made it easier for us, the declaring side. But it made it harder for the defenders because they didn't know. So we've been able to tie in a couple of things. We have sort of like an evaluation. So let's open up a name. Now we're up to hand 4, so we're starting to build some ideas. So our first general idea is quality. So we had one hand that was passed initially. And 1. North and a little bit. So quality and evaluation, hand 1, North initially. Hand 2, quality of the quality of heart suit, overcall, A. Oh. Then for hand 3, demonstrate. Um, okay. So we're building out quite the idea here in terms of planning the line of play. Um, the line of play. We had trump management on the first one, and so one we had double team trump. Started getting so then hand 2, bad split. You usually want to wait, find out more. So I just, and then for hand 3, we just got to see straight up planning our line of play, putting pieces together, and yeah, play. Okay, so we're getting there. We're coming up with some ideas here. So 9 high card points. I've got 7 diamonds. My oh my! I think that with the robots I can bid this. Invitational with diamonds for fewer space. Okay, that's so hand 4. This is now a good example of 4 evaluation of hand. So even though it's not technically extra length, diamonds are held to. Okay, wow. We also conceal the opponent's 11 card fit. Wow, crazy. Okay, well we have we're in 300. Okay. Well, isn't that fascinating? I think we just take our tricks fun. I don't think there's any merit to me doing anything more than 2, 4. So we're gonna get 7 of those, 8, 9. I'm over here. I can just play the Queen of Clubs towards the ace. I'm not gonna take. They play the king. Wow. Well, isn't that wild? So we'll just do this. Heart. All hearts. Getting there with the spades. Can't believe it's covered. It's crazy. Crazy. Wow. Well, that certainly didn't go. But yeah, for hand four, this one's real good. Hand four, planning your line of play. Don't take a risky finesse. You don't. So, yeah, I feel like we're building out quite the little lesson plan here from just like random hands. You just kind of have to be open to. So we have 12 high card points. They opened a diamond. I'm gonna pass. Under my evaluation, I'm putting this up. 5. Could have double. But enough substance. So again, this goes back to the evaluation. It goes back to thinking about what the quality of our hand is, what we're actually telling our partner. Is it worth us getting into the auction? Because our partner is going to be expecting us to have some shortness in the opponent's suit, and here we don't have that shortness. But sometimes you can get away with making an off-shape takeout double, but this is just not good enough. There's not enough substance in spades, hearts, and clubs. I'd rather just pass by my time, possibly defending. So 1 diamond, 1 spade, 1 no trump. Still nothing more to say. And now look at, I've also managed to feel the fact that I have 4 spades. They have 4 spades, so they don't know necessarily that I. 3 no trump. I could also eat a low heart. I feel like that's. Let's just do this spade. Lead through their strength. So I was wondering if you. Now I could return another. I could return like the jack of clubs, or I could return. I feel like the jack probably more successful, but the spade is sneaky because they're not. They might, but just. Oh, you don't have. You didn't have the 10 or the king. What was the point of that? Oh my god. Partner. Okay, so they have 4 clubs. They have 4 diamonds. Um. 2 hearts, 3 spades, 2 spades, 3 hearts. Probably 2 spades. So partner has hearts. Wow. They're 2-2 in the majors. Oh. Well, in terms of planning your line of play, I suppose returning the spade wouldn't have been good because they would have gotten the. They did not play of the hand. But really doesn't feel like returning. They're super helpful. We would rather they have done a lot of other. But planning our line of play, and 5, taking that opening lead. Alright. And 6. We have 12. Oh my god. 5 in the red suits. Let's do 1 heart. Diamonds. 3 hearts. 4 hearts. Well, this is certainly not good enough to be in slam, so I've got it up there. Gonna rough this one. And so I think I go hearts, queen of hearts, heart, diamond, club back. So high card from short side first, except hearts, except, and straight. I feel like that's building on an idea that's tough for people to grasp. Really. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna rough this one, and we're just gonna bank on a 3-2 split because I need multiple ways to get to the north hand. This space works. Go back. Cash the king of spades. Keep the jack. They already played the ace. The queen's still out, but I need up towards the jack. Boom! We are crushing it. So we've got the jack of diamonds at the last best. So planning that line of play was a good way for us to get over to the north hand multiple times, make that decision. The diamonds. So. Because you don't want them to be able to rough also, which is another point. And in 6 you can get some for the quality and evaluation. We can include some offhand much better than as void. Okay. So we've got 2 more hands here, but we have quite the vibe. I feel like I've been able to tie it sort of in. Now these are general bridge ideas that aren't necessarily standalone, and so it's easy to sort of integrate these into a lot of different hands, which is why it's kind of nice sometimes to go and practice just random hands you're going to practice. Just because a lot of things come up and a lot of discussions are happening that you wouldn't necessarily think about otherwise. So let's pass. I'm gonna pass again. I only have. So even though I have a good shape this time, it's not good enough to double. Not good enough to warrant taking some. So pass. And we will leave. Shouldn't have done it like that. But here, again, they're using this Jack of Spades as an entry dummy because their King of Clubs has been stranded after the suit got blocked. So, Jack of Spades is an entry. Yeah. Partner's got a nice hand over there. Oh. I did. That lead was terrible. So, hand 7, making good opening. But yeah, I don't know that this one ties in very well to any. I'm just making forward sometimes or the strongest is not the best off. Okay. And then hand 8. This one looks fun. Okay, so we have 21 high card points and our lovely partner open. So, biggest thing I can think right away is for hand 8, there's no rush. Don't have to jump straight to slam. Because now, look at this. We were able to find out that we have a hard hit. And now I can think to myself, okay, what do I need in order to feel comfortable? Well, I would love for partner to have the queen, one, the 2 aces. So that brings us to 10 high. So they have at least 2 more some. So if they have the queen of clubs, which they also have lengthened clubs, so if they have ace fourth or ace queen fourth, that's great. If they have ace fourth of clubs, then I need them to have either the queen of spades or the queen. But that's very reasonable. So I think right now all I really want to know about are the keys. So I could just jump straight to Blackwood. So here, once I found that out and I thought for a moment about what I needed in order to win tricks, I can start going straight for Blackwood and think about sort of what our end goal is here. So they have 2 key cards they do not have. So that's a little alarming because they have the ace of spades, they have the ace of clubs, but they don't have the queen of hearts. Now, because that's the case, I feel less confident about being 6 no trump because I feel like I might end up meeting something. Missing the queen, they only have 4. We have a 4 forfeit. I'm just gonna bid 6 hearts, and that's where we're gonna play. And I mean, we do kind of need to trump things, but not. So partner did have a bit more shape. They did have that critical queen of diamonds, and they had the queen. They got 5 clubs. And that's not going to be information. At least not with these. Not with these. That, and take our little S. 6. Just need clubs to okay. So that's all of them there. So if we kind of go from sort of like minimum, minimum, medium, medium, maximum. So it's kind of an interesting trajectory that we went on. Specific combination, these came next. Using suit with the least and let's do noting relevant cards under every. I think that's a technique that you really start to get when you start learning about this. The fact that you don't actually need to remember everything if you can pay attention to some specific cards that you are concerned about, that's going to save you a lot of heartache. Because like on that hand, for example, we were missing the Jack of Clubs. So it didn't matter if I missed a club discard, because as long as it wasn't the Jack of Clubs, I'm gonna see the Jack of Clubs and then I'll know that my 10 is good. So it's not about necessarily catching everything or seeing everything, even though I should be striving to do that. It can in part be about just figuring out what you do know and thinking about what you can still find out. So don't remember everything that's played, but instead think about like where you can go from there. Okay. So now that we've done that, we have the 8 hands. Let's see if I can one thing like this. Okay, so now let's duplicate split the it's a new thing that begins. Okay, so 3, we're gonna read this lesson. Let's okay. A lesson plan. So now that we've played the couple of hands, we wrote out some general ideas. Let's see what we can build for like a lesson. So I think we should group them into like minimum and then medium and maximum kind of holdings. And so recognizing like when you should be passing. So for the first one, so this was hand 1. Okay, so hand one was a hand where my partner ended up passing. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this from their side or from. I think I want to do this from. So we're gonna group this in sort of a medium category, minimum, um, this for. Let's make. For hand number two, we have a hand where my partner may have been able to, or I may have been convinced to make some action here, because my partner made this takeout double. So I do have 5 hearts. I have 4 diamonds, which is the opponent. And so, in terms of an evaluation perspective, I think that you could absolutely make some moves here, but it's a little pushy, especially with the ball. Hand three, this one is more of like a bonus idea. So we have minimum, medium, maximum. And I feel like, well, this could go under max because it's going to be that one no trump with the really solid 4 card hearts. We're putting stuff together. Oh, this one's great. I really like work here. This one is going to be a take on upgrading. So evaluating sort of your hand as a medium when it's really by high card points more of a minimum. Um, 5 is another good example of either a minimum or a medium. So I think that this one might be slightly better for minimum just because we decided to pass with this. And there's a lot of justification for that. So it's again looking at the potential for making action, but recognizing why that may not be the right option. So minimum. I'm gonna say could take action. But understanding why. Course of action. Okay. And 5. This one, the hand turned from a minimum to a medium, sort of. So I feel like I could lump this into either medium or maximum. Let's put it in medium, because I do have it's a good hand, and being able to evaluate why that is a good hand in the context of is really helpful. It actually helped some people get to slam. For hand 7 here, this one really, I'm not sure what I was. This one's extra, like not really connected. I'm really struggling with getting this. So if you have an idea of what to do, um, and then hand 8, this one's an okay. So now that we've done that, minimum, we have the medium. I would say is sort of built on upgrading. So We have downgrading, we have upgrading. And then we have how to think about it. So let's move this one. Maximum. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have the medium hands, which are looking at upgrading and identifying when your hand qualifies, what features make it good enough to upgrade. And then the maximum hands are how to best show your hand. And then I'm going to move this one no trump down to the bottom with the extra other, because the only thing that I had with that one was the good heart suit, but that hand was kind of boring. So let's put this on its own page. Okay, so we're gonna separate these out in different things. And then recognizing what you need and sorry. Okay. I feel like my audio was maybe not the best for that whole time. Well, things happen. Yeah. Sorry. It's annoying. Okay. Well, oh, you can't see any of that anymore. That's okay. We will fix. Okay. So now we can go into here. We say recognizing you could take action, but understanding why that might not be the best course of action. So start with an intro here. Intro. Bridge is not a game of absolutes. It's a game of judgment and evaluation. Today we're going to do some case studies on specific hands and why we treated them the way we did. Let's zoom this down a little bit. That's a bit better. Okay. So first we're going to take a look at some hands where you might be tempted to take some action. Hand 2. With this hand, we have a lot of shape. However, we do not have the high card points to back us up. After partner, nor does the vulnerability lead us to wanting to take more of an aggressive action. Overcalling here with N98 5th. Oh, Y98. It's a new name for Yarborough. So overcalling here with 1098 5th is not helpful to your side or Yeah. You don't want to encourage partner to lead hearts. You know what? Let's bring this up, and I'm gonna put it in line here. So we're gonna wrap the text around it, and we're gonna put it right there. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, well. Let's just take the bullets off, and we'll do it like that. Okay. Don't want to encourage partner to lead hearts. Your honors are in your opponent's suit. It's another problem here. So you'd prefer to defend. And then after partner makes a takeout double, it's now more attractive to take some action. However, we are vulnerable and the opponents are not. We have length in their side suit. And we don't really have a double fit from our perspective. So we should still probably pass. Now, how would we do in 4 hearts here is the question. We'd lose a spade. We'd lose 2 clubs. So we'd probably make 4 hearts. So alternatively, maybe we should be taking some action here. But they'd still bid 4 spades over us, and then we would just double them, and then they would go down anyway. So it'd be the same sort of situation. But yeah, I still don't think that this is quite enough for us to be taking some action. But recognize that, no. If the cards lay favorably, you may be able to make the contract. But if not, you may end up putting yourself in a forcing auction with no good escape route. Okay. So that's the thoughts on hand 2 here. Let's do hand 5. So let's make this in line, bring this up, and then hand 5. Sometimes people are tempted to make off-shape takeout doubles when they have any hand with 12 plus high card points. Here, we do not meet that. We do not meet the criteria that we need to. When you make an off-shape takeout double, this should be... Oh, I think I want to also mention that this one is... it's mostly because of the vulnerability that you don't want to do. If the vulnerability was reversed, you definitely want to compete here. So let me just throw that in, and yeah. Okay. And we're gonna get rid of this because that was just our section header. When you make an off-shape double, this should be a robust hand.
with honors mostly in other suits. Here we do not have the extra points. Hey Kai, how you doing? Nor do we have we don't have shape, we don't have the honors in the right suits. No shape. Honors are scattered rather than concentrated in the other suits. And we have soft values, which are the queens and jacks, and not many aces and kings. Because that's what we would really prefer. We'd prefer to have more of those types of things rather than whatnot. So here, making a double would not be, it wouldn't be super detrimental, but it wouldn't be super helpful. And the biggest problem with making these doubles is now your opponents know where roughly all of the honors are. So they can start making decisions on how to take those finesses based on that double. So the double here would just give more information to your opponents rather than building opportunities for your side. You're studying right now, Kai? Okay. So you're going to have to tell me how I can fit in some of these extra things that I had, because I had 2 hands where I was like, ooh, I do not know what to do with these. So for hand 4 here, this one, yeah, I was looking at this and I was like, this should be more of like an upgrading section. So when we got to this one, we're going to take a look at some hands where you may be tempted to take some action, and then the next segment, we're going to look at some hands where we should be tempted to treat this as more than what the high card points are indicating. So, looking at hand 4 here. This one, I mean, South has this beautiful hand. We have 2 smalls, stiff heart, King Jack 9 7th of diamonds, and Ace Jack 3rd of clubs. We don't have any wastage. So we don't have, all of our honors are in our long suits. Honors are in long suits. We have extra length in diamonds. We have strong or prime honors. We have ace and king. And we have some good texture. So we have the 9. We have the King Jack 9, and we have Ace Jack in our 2 long suits. And we also have the 9-8 in partner's spade suit. So here, even though we're a little shy of high card points for an invite, we still want to do it because we have all these compounding factors that make it worth more. Boom. Oh, I played them earlier. So I was playing and making notes as I was going through it, and then I broke them up into groups, and then I was trying to come up with like a nice thread of ideas. So initially I had it hand by hand, and so hand 1 I had a whole lot of notes. Hand 2 I was trying to find where it all tied together, and then hand 3 it was like, okay, now we're starting to get some traction with what directions we want to go. And I decided that the quality and like planning the line of play was going to be sort of a fun way to bring these all together. These are sort of like, they're kind of like superficial, like very, I don't know. They're sort of applicable to everybody. But I thought it was a nice thing here. And then the quality and the evaluation, this is like the main topic for this part. And then planning the line of play. Yeah, there's lots of things in that as well. So I thought it was kind of fun because it's just sort of like random hands, and then you're trying to figure out how you can make it all get together, which is, I don't know, kind of silly, but yeah. So hand 6 here. I mean, you just have 12 high card points, and they're soft high card points, soft values. You have king, queen, you have king, jack, you have king third. Like, this is not exactly tricks. And so here it's like, it's not like, it's not a great hand, but it is good enough. And once you find a fit, now it's all over. So now you know your hearts are really pulling their weight, even though you have a void in partner suit. You'll still be able to use that because they'll probably have shortness in one of your suits, or they'll have a fit with one of your suits. You'll still be able to use that because of the roughing potential or the potential for creating additional winners using a fit, which is what ended up happening on this hand. So we ended up being able to use those diamonds to create some extra winners here. And yeah, the cohesive line could be just be more like Morgan. Yes, that's exactly what it could be. So yeah, once a partner invites, now it's like, well, you just have to accept. You have such a strong hand at this point because you have that fit. And so now everything that you were like worried about with this hand is kind of thrown out the window. So once you find a fit and you know partner is not minimum, you can just go to game. But this one I think could tie in with the next one as well, which is thinking specifically about what cards you need. So specifying what cards you need to be successful. So on this hand, you're looking for partner to have the ace of spades or the ace of hearts. So heart ace. You really don't want them to have a lot of find fit bid game. Yes. So we would like the ace of hearts. We would like for them to have less honors in spades, but you know, 1 or 2 is okay. We would like for them to have the ace of clubs or the queen jack of clubs or some combination. And we'd like for them to have 3 diamonds or 5 clubs if they really want to do that. And so you really don't need that much from them. You want like 8 high card points and 3 diamonds. That's kind of what you're hoping for, because once that void once you know that that's part of your evaluation, you're working with less points in the overall deck, because the 10 high card points that are in the spade suit are far less relevant to you now, because you know that they're not going to factor into how you're going to play that suit. If they play the ace, then you're going to rough it. And that's really it. And so here we're just going to be thinking about the other 3 suits, because, I mean, the fewer high card points that partner has in spades, the better. The more likely it is that we're going to be able to make slam. And we did end up making, we took 12 tricks on this hand, but that's in part because they led the ace of spades. So that's a big part of it. Okay, so that's sort of a good tie-in to not this one, but this one. So maybe I should move this 1 spade, 2 spades. I think that might need to move that up here. So, well, actually, I think I should actually move this way up. I think this should go back to this first section, not because it's a minimum, but because you might be tempted to bid more than you should be. So this is a good example of that, because here, hand 1, this is a slightly different example where you might be tempted to bid more. And so for hand 1 here, it was kind of interesting because partner passed the 1 spade bid initially. Once partner passes your opener past your opening bid, you aren't held to the same standards for any rebids. So now if you make a rebid, you're saying that you have a little bit more, even if you don't jump. And so that's going to be a great way for you to, it's going to be a great way to communicate that to your partner without necessarily needing to jump higher into the auction, take up that extra space. So once partner passes that opening bid, now to show that you have a medium hand with extra length in spades, you should just bid 2 spades. You do not need to jump to 3 spades. Partner will understand that you have extras. If you did not have extras, you should probably pass, because partner is broke. You do not want to encourage them to do anything crazy. Thanks, Kai. Yeah. I thought this would be like a fun idea, and it's sort of like very out of the box for a stream. Just over here doing some work. Okay, so then on to this last one, recognizing what you need and how to find out more or communicate to your partner. So this one was really great, I thought, because my partner opened 1 club and I had 21 high card points. So that's crazy. And so what you want to do is you want to think about how we can communicate that to our partner, and find out the information that we need to. So the first objective that we have is not to jump straight to slam. It's to figure out what the best slam is. And so our first thought here, because partner may be very unbalanced, maybe they have a void, maybe they have like 4 spades, 4 hearts, void and diamonds, and 5 clubs. Maybe it's something like that. So first objective is to find the best slam. It's not to get to slam right at the first round of the auction. It's to find what slam is going to be best. And so first thing you want to do is find out if you have a 4-4 major suit fit. So no need to jump initially. You can just bid 1 heart. 6 plus high card points, 4 plus hearts. Simple, easy. Now, when partner raises, you have a few options. So there's a couple of thoughts that you should be thinking when your partner raises here. And you know, at the end of the day, your goal is to get to slam. And so now you just want to figure out what you need to figure out if you belong in 6 or in 7. I know you like finding slams at the first bid in the auction, Kai. I feel like that's like, didn't you have like a reel or a stream the other day where you just were like opening 7 diamonds or something like all the time? Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, we want to think about what we need from partner at this point. And so just looking at the south hand, you want to think about what you need in order for 7 hearts or 7 no trump to be good, because 7 no trump still on the table. But now you have some more clarity in what partner has in their hand. So first you want to think, okay, what specific cards do I need? So what specific cards do I need? And the answer, we're looking for the ace of spades for sure. We are also looking for the queen of hearts. And we want partner to have the ace of clubs and either the queen of diamonds or the queen of clubs. So that gives us 12 high card points if they have those 4 cards. And the queen of clubs, we're really hoping that they have that one because partner likely has 4 clubs here. And if they have 4 clubs and we have a fit, if they have the ace, king, queen of clubs, now we're even more good. And so it did work once. I think I saw the one that worked and I was like, oh my gosh, Kai. But then I tagged you on some bidding problem the next day and I was like, I need to know how many rounds will it take you to get to 7? So we're really hoping for the queen of clubs here because we want a second 8 card fit. And we want it to have the queen. But here, it would have worked out if they just had ace 5th of clubs. So if they had ace 5th of clubs, that's also okay. Nine card club fit. Missing the queen. That's okay too. Okay. So, then you can think about anything extra that you might need to find out about. But for the most part, looking at the cards that we need from them, we won't be able to find out if they have the queen of diamonds or the queen of clubs. That's just not something we'd be able to find out in this auction unless you have a way to key card on multiple suits and find out about multiple queens, but not going to cut it. So first thing we need to do is figure out the 3 key cards that we're missing. Oh, my goodness gracious. So we need to figure out those 3. And so because those are the 3 things we need from partner, it's not that we need them to have a great fit with us. It's not that we need them to have, extra length in diamonds or something, or extra length in spades. We don't care about any of that really. What we really want to know is if they have those 3 key cards or if they have the 2 key cards and the queen of trumps. And so here we just jump straight to 4 no trump. Okay, so now that you have that, then you get to go from there. You find out partner doesn't have the queen, and you have to decide whether it's better to play in 6 hearts or 6 no trump. So once you find out about the missing queen, you just decide between no trump and hearts. And I feel like on this hand, hearts is probably safer just because you don't know how unbalanced partner is. So gives you some potential for being able to make up the ground kind of thing. The unbalanced nature of partner's hand, possibly. 6 hearts seems safer. And then we have these 2 extra bonus hands. And so this first one here, I just thought was kind of nice because it's just, it's a simple thing, but it just showcases in the line of play that concealing your best suit is sometimes good for putting your opponents under pressure and making them have to decide what to do. And so concealing the heart suit ended up making the defense harder. So to go back to the initial thing, back to the first segment, not always bidding something specific when you don't have to is a good way to make things harder for your opponents. And then for hand 7 here, this one I really couldn't figure anything out. There was nothing good for me for this one. I feel like I was just stuck with it. Maybe my partner has some sort of idea here, but I think hand 7 is just going to be the one that ends up getting scrapped. But that's okay. So overall, though, I feel like this is a pretty cohesive lesson plan. We built out 5 pages of it. We have 3 different segments. We have an initial section where we are tempted to take some action, and then choose not to. And then the next segment is you're tempted to take some action and you should. And then the third one is just getting into those specifics of, I know I'm going to take some action. I need to figure out what the right action is. So that's sort of the trajectory of this little lesson plan that I made up from 8 random hands that I played earlier. So hopefully that was kind of fun. I'll post a link to the lesson plan in the comments here. And yeah, so thank you, everybody. That was kind of fun. Kind of random and different, but it was kind of fun. So thank you. And until next time, happy bridging.